QB1 in 2025? Is he QB1 in the NFL? Is he the NFL MVP? Of course he's Rookie of the Year, but no one can convince me that he should not be not only Rookie of the Year, JD5 as a alumni, as the valedictorian from Himothy University. No one can convince me he shouldn't be NFL MVP and Rookie of the Year, because no one is as valuable as JD5 to his team. No one is more valuable to his team than JD5. Not one single player. Not Josh Allen, not Lamar Jackson. Those guys are very, very close calls. But JD5 is not only him, he should be Rookie of the Year. He should be NFL MVP. And we told you, the Fantasy Football Show, JD5, Jahmyr Gibbs is running back 1 show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news.
There are 2 5s? JD5, AR5? There can't be.
Oh no.
They're gonna cross streams.
Oops. Well, damn. He's a fragile Freddy.
He's a 5. JD5 is the only 5. JD5 is him, and now all can see. He graduated from Himothy University. Unleash the Washington Kraken. JD5 to Saturn
And beyond.
to Saturn.
And beyond.
Supernova.
I mean, what a game. What a game. I see some of your comments here. JD5, rock solid, top 1 to 5 QB without a doubt. We've got this one here. Can't believe my league mates took Marvin Harrison and Caleb before letting me take JD5 at 1.3, especially if that was super flex, bro. Smitty convinced me last offseason that JD5 was the truth. Attaboy. Appreciate you. Lamar 2, JD5. I'm sorry, Lamar 1, JD5 2, Allen 3, according to Jose. One of the 5s. Appreciate you. JD doesn't even have a wide receiver 2. Imagine if they get one web. Imagine if they bring in T. Higgins, bro. QB1, come on, man, says Tim. Is someone going to tell him? Tim, you might have the game paused, and you might be behind. I don't even know if you even watched the entire season, Tim. Tim, hold our beer. Tim, go get me a coffee. QB1, you really think you believe Tim. You can't possibly. Tim, call into the show. Tim, call it.
Live from the Fantasy Football Show.
Call into the show.
Tim, QB1. I didn't have any shares of a Margaret. Shut up. But Tim, he did well. I'm watching the Margaret. Shut up and let me work. I'm on Smitty's live stream trying to make a point, Margaret. You really believe, Tim, that there's a come on man appropriate? You can appropriately deploy the come on comment? You can't. Like, that is, you are not allowed to use that comment in a not come on man situation. It's just not, it's not appropriate, bro. Elijah, you're not Tim. Phone lines are not open. They're only open for Tim, because Tim's got something to say, and I'd love to hear him explain. Fantasy, explain us. Gil says Penix is the most QB ready of the draft. LOL, my butt. I don't know what in the hell, Gil, what room you think you're in. Gil, did you really believe you could come into a JD5 stream when I told you about JD5 and somehow say something negative? Maybe I believe what Gil's trying to say here in a hater fashion is that when I made comments about how Penix Jr. is probably the most NFL-ready quarterback to play out of this draft class, JD5 right there with him, neck and neck. These are the two top quarterbacks. JD5, my number one quarterback, Gil, and Penix Jr., my number two quarterback from the draft class, from January all the way till now. Never wavered. Gil, and you think you're going to come in here and, what, rain on my parade? Take a leak right on my parade? I don't think so, Gil. You're embarrassing yourself. You and Tim are embarrassing yourselves. Just straight up embarrassing yourselves. What are you doing? No one, I repeat, no one on planet Earth liked JD5, created content about JD5 more than this man. You're going to come in and try and one-up me? I don't think so, bro. That's light work for me. That's light work, bro. 7 coming in strong with a $2 hauler. Smitty called it. JD5 from the jump. Let's go. Appreciate you, 7, dropping the super chat. The man, the myth, the legend. Looks like Tim isn't going to call in. Looks like whatever his face is. Who is it that just said that? Gil? Gil ain't going to call in. I can tell you that right now. Gil, climb out of bed. Okay, go into the pantry, pull the little string, turn the light on, and make a phone call if you want to talk any trash. I'm right here for you. I found Smitty mid-season, but drafted JD5. Attaboy. BBQ, we're glad to have you, my boy. We're glad to have you. Got JD5 in a second in my nice job. Nice job. What a absolute Lions coordinators checked out early. Yeah. So, man, I like to go live on breaking news in a compartmentalized fashion. So, while I would love to go live, offensive coordinator Cliff Kingsbury has requests from the Bears, the Saints. There's a bunch of teams that are going to be all after that man. We've got Ben Johnson, 2 of the most coveted head coaching candidates. Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson and DC Aaron Glenn are now eligible to interview in person on Monday and can accept jobs anytime. All that news is flowing in. Okay, so we're going to have a big day tomorrow, I believe. Jared Goff, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like Jared Goff turned into Sam Darnold. I think Jared Goff has always kind of had that, is he good enough? Yeah, if everything's going right. But you know who gets a lot of blame today? Dan Campbell. Campbell has a tendency to throw big games away, just like Shanahan. Just like a lot of other coaches that are very good, raw players, coaches. They make great speeches. They motivate players pretty well, but they make piss poor decisions. This man had his wide receiver, JMO, who we love Jameson Williams, throw a football instead of his quarterback in a fourth quarter, like 10 minutes left, roughly, if I remember correctly. 10 minutes left, 9 minutes left, whatever. Lots of time. Marching down by 10. Lions moving the ball. Gibbs playing like a monster. We're going to talk about Gibbs being running back 1 in 2025, as we've said all along. Not to mention the Jupiter men have been there since December.
The Jupiter men. Jupiter is so large, every planet in the solar system could fit inside it. There are no bigger monsters than the Jupiter men.
And it's crazy how wild the takes were in December when we started saying JD5 1-3 quarterback 2025, and everyone's like, well, we'll see how he finishes. The playoffs are coming up. Jahmyr Gibbs running back 1, 2. 1 or 2. It's Bijan, Gibbs, Bijan. There's no anybody else for me. I love Barkley, but it is Bijan, Gibbs, or Gibbs, Bijan. And that was kind of like, Monty's back. And even in this game, people saying, imagine if I heard that 5-6 times tonight. Imagine if Monty wasn't there. Gibbs and Monty played tonight together. And this man had 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. I don't understand what people don't understand about Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, I went on a tangent. I was trying to say something, completely derailed my own topic. I think I was talking about JD5. I don't know. This show is about JD5 and Jahmyr Gibbs, but JD5 it could very well be QB1 overall next year. The one thing people don't realize about JD5, for whatever reason, is that he's nowhere near his top potential. It's so funny how people want to say, he's still not better than Lamar. He's still not better than Josh Allen. He's a rookie. He's a rookie. Do you guys remember the rookie years for like Herbert, rookie years for quarterbacks that did do well the rookie year? Joe Burrow, rookie years for quarterbacks that we knew would get better. Does anybody think he won't get better? If he gets better, he will score more fantasy points. There's a lot of times we look at a rookie QB and like Drake May would be a very fair look, or Bo Nix would be a very fair, normal look at a quarterback coming out of a rookie year, and we try and predict how well they'll be the next year. Think about what I'm saying for a second. This should really hit home for some of you that are wavering on JD5 investments for 2025. How are you looking at Bo Nix? Bo Nix probably takes a huge leap forward next year. Bo Nix probably goes from being a, 8 to 10, 8 to 12, kind of bounce all around quarterback to all of us going, God, Bo Nix could take a step forward and become a top 5-6 quarterback, right? Why can't we use the same logic for a man that was top 3 quarterback potential all year long, clearly playing like that now? Why can't we say what if he takes a big step forward? If JD5 takes a big step forward, good Lord, we're looking at a marvel. We're looking at a first-round potential 1 QB value quarterback. Oh, Smitty, no one's taking a quarterback in round 1. I beg to differ. In my lifetime, before I retire from this racket, we will have a quarterback go at the tail end of round 1. Everything's a cycle in life, and I know that the cycle has bumped the quarterback value down to the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, and there's this big, don't draft a quarterback. If he gets better and he has a season where he runs for 15 to 18 touchdowns or something, runs for 1,000 yards, has a Michael Vick type feel comparatively to the other quarterbacks in the class, right? You're like, here's Josh Allen, here's Lamar. In 2 or 3, 4 years, maybe we have Josh Allen playing different football. Maybe some players, knock on wood, get injured and they get knocked out of the competitive game for QB1, QB2 in fantasy. If this guy separates himself, if this guy steps up and scores 50 total touchdowns, which he did in college, for people that don't understand how good he was in college, it's crazy to me. It makes me laugh when people don't understand how good he was in college. He had 1134 rushing with 10 touchdowns on the ground. He threw for 40 touchdowns with 4 INTs. Don't you see that efficiency right now? When you watch JD5 drop back and he looks like he's in practice, just throwing a nice little quick, soft touch throw to his wide receivers, knifing across the field. McLaurin doing a little post. Here you go. We're in practice right now. Let me throw. It looks like he's just effortless fashion throwing the football. This man had 40 passing touchdowns, only 4 INTs. This man had 35 touchdown throws out of the 40 in the pocket. He was first in yards per attempt with 11.5. These pocket numbers are what I told you in the offseason. Do you remember me saying this is the best pocket passer to come out of college in the last 10 years? And people would go, what is he saying? JD5, he's a running quarterback. He's a running quarterback. Smitty, he's a running quarterback. That's the problem with today's analysis and today's knee-jerk reactions and the box score bobbies out there that sit here and go, yeah, he's a 1,000-yard, 10-touchdown rushing quarterback. Oh, he did throw 40 touchdowns, but, bad competition. No, okay, 35 touchdowns wasn't good in the pocket, was he? 35, okay, 11.5. This is the best pocket passer to come out of college in the last decade, the last 10 years. 67% completion percentage on 20-plus yard passes in 2023 was the best in FBS history in the last 10 years. His last 3 games, 11 TDs, 0 INTs in college. This is as easy to see coming as anything. If anything, I feel embarrassed that I'm getting accolades and standing ovations for this call, because the writing was on the mother freaking wall. And Gibbs, same thing with Gibbs, man. We smashed the hell out of Jahmyr Gibbs in every league. People talking about Monty this, Monty that, and I'm still hearing people say, well, Monty's there. Imagine if Monty wasn't there. What if Monty wasn't around? Monty was around today. I hate to break the news to you, you absolute Gibbs haters. You oblivious Gibbs doubters out there. Monty was around tonight. He played the game. Gibbs had 2 touchdowns and 100 yards rushing on the ground. Let me screenshot that actual game and the numbers and throw it on screen, because we need to go over this entire game, because JD5 was magnificent. Jahmyr Gibbs was magnificent. Jameson Williams and St. Brown played damn good football. And you know who screwed this game up? I wouldn't say the Lions would have won the game necessarily if Dan Campbell didn't screw it up, but Dan Campbell screwed it up. This man, Jahmyr Gibbs, averaged 7.5 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns, 14 totes, 105. David Montgomery got 7 carries for 28 yards. Dare I say, I definitely want to avoid Monty. Next year, our cuff board, our very famous handcuff board that we talked about all season long. Dare I say Monty becomes a handcuff next year. Monty will fall in value far enough to where he becomes a very attractive addition, but a handcuff of sorts. Maybe an expensive handcuff, a little bit more expensive than the average handcuff, but this is last year's board. We'll create a new one for 2025. When I create it, dare I say Monty's on this, and Monty becomes a fantastic handcuff that I will want to push you guys to draft and cuff to Jahmyr Gibbs. But dare I say Monty might have started to drop off. This might be why they didn't use him. He's very injury prone at this age in his career. And I'm not saying he can't score 10 touchdowns next year. I'm not saying he's not solid, and I'm not saying he can't do well if Gibbs gets hurt. But he's going to start entering handcuff territory. And that's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. We'll be promoting drafting Gibbs and Monty together. But Gibbs and Monty being on roster is the best thing that could ever happen to Jahmyr Gibbs 2025. If you think that Monty's hampering Jahmyr Gibbs, you don't know ball, or you just aren't aware yet, and we'll help you with that. I don't mean that in a harsh way. I just mean if you're hearing that, stop regurgitating it. Stop regurgitating it. It's not correct. Monty is not a guy that's going to take anything from Jahmyr Gibbs. You need to have Monty take something. And if Monty doesn't do it, another running back will. This team runs 500 times a season. You can't have Gibbs run even half of that. Somebody's got to carry the football 150 to 200 times outside of Jahmyr Gibbs. Somebody has to do it. I'd rather it be a washed but still productive version of David Montgomery than a nice, young, exciting rookie. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Monty is a perfect marriage to Jahmyr Gibbs. Stop using Monty as any sort of excuse for avoiding Jahmyr Gibbs, or you're walking down a lonely road that's going to be a very depressing road in 2025. I'm on Ross St. Brown, 8 for 137. Jahmyr Gibbs, 6 for 70. This guy had 105 yards receiving, 175 total yards, Jahmyr Gibbs. 2 rushing touchdowns, 0 receiving, but 6 receptions. What a day. What an absolute lambasting Jahmyr Gibbs put on people in 2025 Week 1 Fantasy Football NFL playoffs. But his reign is over. His playoff reign is over. You scored a bunch of points with St. Brown and Gibbs, and now in your fantasy football playoff brackets or your fantasy football playoff drafts, you're without these Lion players moving forward, and that sucks, but they scored a lot of points for you. Hopefully you're protected. JD5, 2 touchdowns, throwing, 0 INTs, Mr. Efficient, 299 yards passing. This guy was second on the team in rushing yards, tied for first for attempts, 15 attempts, 52 yards, 3.5 a carry. Absolutely amazing game. McLaurin, 87 yards and a touchdown. Brown had 6 for 98. Zacchaeus was not involved. 2 targets, nothing. That's weird to me because he looks so good and involved one moment and he's not the other. This is a team. Ertz is obviously still playing solid football. I think Ben Sinnott's a big sleeper next year. This team needs T. Higgins. This team needs to trade for a wide receiver. Maybe they go get Deebo Samuel. Why would Deebo Samuel make sense? Because this team is unorthodox. This team would benefit from a strangely utilized player like Deebo Samuel that can catch short passes at and around the line of scrimmage, play that wide back role. And why is the connection there? Because Adam Peters is the GM in Washington. Adam Peters was the man responsible for drafting and scouting George Kittle, Brock Purdy, and a plethora of players. He's the main brains behind all of the San Francisco 49er draft selections the last handful of years. He goes over to Washington this year, becomes GM, best GM in the league. We said on this channel, potentially right from Jump Street. Look what he did. Look what he's done with this team. Adam Peters is arguably the best GM in the National Football League. If anybody's going to pick up the phone and make a good deal, hey, T. Higgins, send him on over. Red Rover. Hey, let's get Deebo in here. I think Adam Peters might look for a younger player. Cooper Kupp, Matt, is an interesting thought, but I think Adam Peters is thinking, we're already this good. Let's not go after somebody that might age out. Let's go. We got McLaurin. He's already getting older. Let's go get a young wide receiver. Maybe they trade up and they draft a top 3 rookie wide receiver. Maybe they're Adam Peters so good at scouting, he finds the 4th or 5th or 6th ranked rookie wide receiver that he knows will be 2. We'll be eyeballing what Adam Peters does. Whoever Adam Peters brings in, we need to listen and pay attention because he knows what in the hell he's doing. He's an amazing scout. Finding George Kittle, finding Brock Purdy, Adam Peters knows ball. If we follow Adam Peters and where he goes, we're going to find a sleeper. Mark my words. We will be very closely paying attention to what wide receiver Adam Peters drafts or brings in or trades for. Understand what I'm saying? Okay, let's go over the other game real quickly, and then we'll open the phone lines to talk Jahmyr Gibbs and JD5. There's going to be a lot of people complaining about the Chiefs. Frankly, it's boring to me to have this conversation all of the time. Do I think that the Chiefs get away with stuff? Yes, but let's take some accountability here and say that there's more ways to win the game than one play, one call. And there were other opportunities where the refs could have potentially thrown something and they purposely didn't because they knew they had already kind of overplayed their hand on a previous call. And I'm not going to sit here and disagree with that. Maybe this should have been called or that should have been called. The bottom line is people love to hate the KC Chiefs. They don't like this team winning. And they think that it's crazy. Every time the Chiefs win a game or Mahomes wins some close game, all we get are people crying and complaining about how the Chiefs do this, the Chiefs wouldn't win with this, the Chiefs are garbage, don't like them at all. I hear it all day long. I can't tell you how many DMs I got and comments, and I don't care. It doesn't really bother me, but I guess what I'm saying is I just turn away from it because I don't really care to read it anymore. I see it's boring. It's old. Mahomes is a GOAT. Mahomes is on his way. And as I said at the beginning of the year, and I remember, and it's okay if Travis and everybody else that push back on me. Everyone thinks everybody just agrees. No, Travis was pushing back on me. A lot of people were pushing back on me. I said at the beginning of the year, if Mahomes wins his 3rd championship, we would be talking about him being the greatest of all time after he wins a 3rd Super Bowl in a row. And the pushback was, no way, Tom Brady's got so many more Super Bowls. How can you? But once it happens, and there's going to be so many people against this conversation because they hate Patrick Mahomes. And the crazy part is Patrick Mahomes is all class. He's a class act of a person. He's a genuine guy. He's surrounded by absolute craziness with his family, from his brother to his dad to his wife to everybody involved, that he becomes very hard to like, I guess, from an outsider perspective, especially when fandom's involved. But Patrick Mahomes wins a third Super Bowl in a row, winning more playoff games than what half the franchises have won in the NFL practically. Like, this guy's an absolute GOAT in the making, if not already right in line with Tom Brady because of how young he is and what he's done at that young age. How long it took Tom Brady and other quarterbacks to get to the level that you consider GOAT status. There is something about looking at Patrick Mahomes being as good as he is at this age and saying that is part of how you account for somebody being the greatest. So Jake says, usually agree with Smitty, but Mahomes is not a class act. Yes, he is. Name things that Mahomes does wrong, bro. Name things that Mahomes does. Don't start saying crybaby this, crybaby that. Mahomes is a class act. The first time a person gets injured on the field, Mahomes is the one that rushes over to officials, clears the way. He's always concerned about his fellow man. This is a guy that is a class act. Okay. Mixon, 88 yards and a touchdown. Nico, 81 yards, no touchdowns. Stroud didn't throw a single touchdown in this game. They play good on defense. Stroud had some moments, some scrambling, 6 for 42, did some things with his legs, but this game was never going to be won against a team like the KC Chiefs, who know how to slow a game down and just execute. Mahomes, 1 TD, 177. Kareem Hunt, 44 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Pacheco, 18 yards. It feels like Pacheco's fallen completely out of favor. And in fantasy football, NFL playoff drafts, drafting Hunt over Pacheco felt like the right move, and it's clearly paying off because they seem to want to continue to lean on Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt just looks better than Pacheco right now. Travis Kelce, 7 for 117 and a touchdown. Worthy, 45 yards. Worthy had a -8 yard run, but also almost scored twice. So Worthy's totally involved. He's such a good player right now. He's really turning into something special. Noah Gray, 3 for 13. Kareem Hunt, 1 for 2. Not a lot. This is a very, very slow-paced game. So it wasn't quite the high-scoring affair we would have liked. But Kareem Hunt definitely looks like he's really getting into his groove. But yeah, there was some awesome fantasy production on very many different levels in today's two games. I very much had fun watching both these games. They're both fantastic. They're both fun to watch. JD5 is the NFL MVP. JD5 is the NFL MVP, and I don't think there's a good, strong argument against it. You could say that Lamar deserves to be in the top 3 in consideration in the voting. Obviously, Josh Allen as well. Lamar has Henry. Josh Allen has Cook, but pretty much does everything on his own. JD5's got McLaurin, and Ertz plays well from time to time. The running game can do well at times. JD5's doing it all on his own, for the most part. And on top of that, he's a rookie. He deserves to be Rookie of the Year and NFL MVP. And there's just no arguing it unless you're bringing your fandom into the conversation. There's just no arguing it. He is the most valuable player. The essence of the award. JD5 is the most valuable player to his team. Josh Allen is probably right there, near tied, second most valuable player to his team. Lamar Jackson right after that. He's only going to get better. JD5 will only get better. I've never seen a rookie QB do what JD5 has done with less talent. Imagine when he gets his receiver. And Adam Peters will surround him with talent because Adam Peters is the best GM in the league. He's proved that in one season. And we said it before he ever took office over in Washington that he would become a top 2, if not the best GM in football. And he's done that in 1 year. Feels good to be Washington fan. Smitty, somebody get the director of Moneyball, AP, DQ, JD5, last second wins. This is straight out of a movie. And Calvin, he won't continue to run a skeleton crew type of ship. Adam Peters will bring in some talent. Don't you worry. Whether it's Debo, whether it's Kupp, I think it'll be a younger player, though, like Higgins or something else. The Red Zone guy owes you a shout-out, Smitty season. Yeah, he kind of doesn't. I mean, Penix Jr. was... I kicked myself for not really pushing JD5 in the challenge that Scott Hansen and I had from the NFL Red Zone. He came on, for anybody that doesn't know, he came on the show, and I was talking up JD5 and Penix Jr. He gave me a little pushback on my Penix Jr. could be a top 10 quarterback this year. And he's like, no, not this year. I agree with you. He could be really good, but not this year. And we're like, okay, if it happens, and he goes, okay, he's got to play like a top 10 quarterback for more than, one game. Penix Jr. technically didn't the first game, and the second game he was remarkable. But yeah, he didn't shout me out on the red zone like the challenge was, but it's okay. I understand why he wouldn't consider that being, hitting the mark. But I believe Penix Jr. is here. He's arrived. JD5 is here. Penix Jr. I think I did pretty damn good when you look back on my January analysis of that. JD5 was QB1 by far. Caleb wasn't even in my top 4 quarterbacks. That worked out correctly. Penix Jr. was my number 2. We couldn't see any of that develop until there at the end of the season. Drake May, JJ McCarthy. I like Drake May more than McCarthy. I very much probably had McCarthy floating around with Caleb. If I remember back, I'm sure Caleb was ranked above JJM at times. But that's where Caleb ranks, right there. May is ahead of both of them. Oh, Bo Nix, I'm sorry. Bo Nix ahead of May. So Bo Nix was my QB3, Drake May 4, and JJ McCarthy and Caleb kind of rotating around. But Bo Nix is an absolute monster. Bo Nix is going to be a top 6 to 10 quarterback, and we talked about that over and over on this channel. Probably no channel higher on the 3 QBs than this channel. Bo Nix, JD5, and Penix Jr. I don't think anybody liked those guys as much as we did. We've been on this train all year. JD5 is generational. Absolutely, Fonz. Appreciate your super chat, my boy. Let's open the phone lines. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in. Let's talk JD5. Let's talk Jahmyr Gibbs, specifically, if possible, or anything relating to these topics here tonight, anything playoff related, anything Kansas City Chief related. I'm sure some of you want to discuss Patrick Mahomes and some of you want to cry about the Chiefs win. That's fine. Patrick, what's up, my boy?
Yes, sir.
You're live.
I'm devastated, my man. I cannot believe the Lions took a dump in front of the national TV and couldn't stop the Commanders not even once.
Did they take a dump, or did Dan Campbell take a dump? I don't know.
Their defense took a dump.
True.
And whoever called that play for J-Mo to throw that pass was very, very dumb.
I wonder if that was Ben Johnson or if that was Dan. But for Dan to even let that kind of thing happen right now, it's on Dan. Dan's responsible for that. If everybody else can mute real quick while I'm talking to Patrick, I'll come around the phone line in a second. But Dan Campbell, it's on Dan Campbell. He goes for it on 4th down. He's the one responsible for a lot of those big, weird plays. Big decision plays.
Right.
And it's on him. And when you're down 10 points with about 10 minutes left and your team's playing well, you're climbing back in. Washington scores, you climb back in. Washington scores, you climb back in. And you're marching down the field pretty effectively. And you have your wide receiver throw a football into congested territory and leave it upon him with the adrenaline pumping. And he made a big play earlier in the game, so he's living on that. And of course he's going to throw the ball. You can't put J-Mo in the position. I don't even blame J-Mo. You put J-Mo in a position to throw a pass, a wide receiver toss to Jahmyr Gibbs in congestion with 2 players on him is the dumbest move Campbell could have made. That's on Campbell.
It was very dumb. I mean, you can't leave. J-Mo isn't even. He's a very young man, and he's still not seasoned enough to even. I mean, he just barely got this year to where he's catching the ball, and Amon-Ra's putting a little bit of work ethic into him, so he's taking things more seriously. But to have J-Mo throw the ball, that's not his thing. And especially, what made me think we had a chance is when Gibbs scored the last touchdown. There was no dancing, there was no nothing, because he was meaning business. You know what I mean? We're down points. We shouldn't be dancing.
Jedi,
was pissed off.
Jedi, thank you for the $2 hauler. Yeah, we don't know. Like I just said, Travis makes a good point, but I just said this. Can you mute yourself, Sean and Josh and Pat and Mitch, please? Sean.
Yep. Smitty, what's up?
Okay, he's not paying attention. Sean, call back in and mute.
Yeah.
Okay, Travis. Like Travis said, I just addressed this a second ago. Ben Johnson makes that call, doesn't he? I don't know. We don't know. That's what we're saying. That either way, it's on Dan to allow that to happen. There's no way he.
Thanks for your cool.
Oh yeah.
Thanks
Pat.
for your cool show this year, and I'm going to follow you. Hopefully, I'll get a better team because my team crapped in the semis because their team just blew up and my team didn't. But I had Gibbs all year. And I had good players, but I'm going to be watching you to see who I need to draft this year. Appreciate everything.
All right, later,
just
Patrick.
Sitting here devastated, though.
Sorry, man. All right, later. But as Travis said here, and as I addressed right before, I probably said this right when he was typing this, but that we don't know. Sean, can you mute yourself? Good God, Sean, you're gone again. No soup for you, Sean. You're not calling in again tonight. I've given you two chances. You call in and you have a conversation with somebody, and you got the sound going on in the background. I appreciate you, Sean. We'll give you one more try. Okay, just because we're so excited about JD5. If you call in again, Sean, hit the mute button, the real mute button. Okay, and then I'll come to you in a second. Ben Johnson may or may not make that call. Probably does, but there's no way that Campbell doesn't know that's happening. That's a crazy play for Campbell knows is coming through. And if he doesn't, that's irresponsible on his part to not know that this play is being called or going for it on fourth down. He makes that call. So Ron says, so much for my milestone message. Those don't come in like super chats, Ron. I'll look for it, but I address all those. You haven't been here for a long time, I think. In terms of a full show, I address those at the end of all shows when the credits are going up because they don't come through the same. I don't know that they're there. I have to manually search. I'll look for yours though, Ron. But I never answer those mid-show unless I see it as it comes in. But they pile up and they don't alert me. But anyway, that one's on Campbell no matter what. Ben Johnson, thank you for the super chat, Ron. No matter what. Mitch from Oregon, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. Man, JD5 is the best rookie quarterback I've ever seen.
Oh, of course.
And honestly, I'm not surprised at all that the Commanders beat the Lions. I've been calling the Commanders the dark horse team in the playoffs since it started.
Yeah.
And I honestly think they could win the Super Bowl.
They could. I mean, look, the bracket now for me looks. I think the Commanders beat the Eagles. I think the Eagles beat the Rams. I think the fact that there's projected snow involved and Stafford plays like a trash can in snow, that makes me feel like Philly's got enough juice with Barkley and their defense to get through this game. But where they lose track of everything, where their holes become glaringly larger and they're not able to mask anything, all their deficiencies, their wide receiver room being in a mess of a situation, Hurts not playing very well right now, all that's going to come to light. And I think Washington does knock off the Eagles. I truly believe at this point, Washington faces KC. I still have KC winning, but doesn't mean I won't be rooting for Washington the entire way.
I do too. I think if anybody can beat Mahomes and the Chiefs, it's JD5 and the Commanders.
It could be. It could be. All right. Anything else, bro?
No, I'm good. All right. Thank you.
All right, later, Mitch. Ron's celebratory 30-month membership was Smitty. You're giving excuses for factual ref assistance. Look, Ron, I know you're upset about the KC win, but we're going to see this differently. That's fine. It's okay. I'm not mad at your side. I know you get mad at my take when my take isn't in line with your take, but I don't really get mad at your take when it's not in line with my take. giving excuses for factual ref assistance in every KC game going back to playoffs 2 years ago, and excuses, you're defending it because you're picking them, so you're saying like your court bias. I mean, Ron, that's your opinion. I'm pretty unbiased, bro. I am very unbiased. I don't care about a bracket that I have on my screen, Ron. I'm not driving content and sticking to my guns on a bracket that I put up on screen. Like, I could care less about this. Not to mention that I very much understand that the NFL, anybody can win, and predicting a bracket is actually asinine, you know, at the end of the day, because everything gets all jostled around, and this is football. But, I mean, I don't... look, you can have your opinion on KC and that they don't deserve this or they don't deserve that. But in my opinion, when people come so hard at this topic and say, you take away everything, Mahomes is garbage, you can't give him credit for this, you can't do this, they shouldn't. That's like, it sounds like fandom or anti-fandom based on whatever. Like that, I get what you're saying. I understand it. I don't necessarily disagree that there aren't calls that get handed to the Chiefs that other teams don't get. I get that it is beneficial from a money perspective, Taylor Swift, for the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. But there's only so much you can control. If the Chiefs got a call here, I saw 2 calls that they didn't get because I believe they felt like they could have thrown a flag then because they threw a flag earlier. There's ways to look at this 100,000 different ways. And the bottom line is you can only do so much. The Texans, you can only fabricate so much. You can't just throw a flag for absolutely nothing. And I know you're going to come in and go, they did. There's close calls that flags go up. And later on, you can say, even the announcers are like, I don't think that should have been called. But there's a reason to assume that there was something going on. Mahomes did get clobbered, but he was toying around with the defense, and the NFL does need to do something about that. The NFL needs to do something. Like the announcer said, you can't just toy around and make defenses go, oh, do I hit him? Do I not hit him? And then you slide and you get hit and leveled. It needs to be addressed. No doubt about it. But the Houston Texans lost the game. The Chiefs didn't win because of the refs. The Texans didn't win the game. Plain and simple. Stroud didn't throw a single touchdown pass. Like there's a lot of ways they could have won the game. I do agree that they get some calls, but I don't think that you can write off Mahomes or talk about Mahomes no longer being considered for GOAT status because the Chiefs get calls or whatever. All right, let me go over to Denny, who's been waiting patiently, then over to Josh, then over to Sean. Denny, you're live, young man.
Well, man, but
yeah, Denny.
I'm scared because of the GOAT status, but man, he is really shattering my man Brady. You know what I mean? You know I'm a Bass fan, but I mean,
I don't know what he's saying.
It could definitely be.
What's he saying?
We're scared of.
What are we saying, Denny? I can't hear you tonight. For some reason, normally I got a Denny translator, but in my head, but I can't really make out what you're saying tonight. You're saying you're scared of Mahomes chasing Brady for the GOAT? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
You should be. You should be scared because he's in the bucket now. You may have Brady above, even if Mahomes wins his 3rd consecutive Super Bowl. You may have Brady above him still, but he climbed into the bucket. They're in the same tier. They're in the same GOAT tier. And maybe he's still below Brady, but he's climbing his way up because he's so young. And to do what he's done at his age, combined with 3 Super Bowls in a row, if he does in fact win it, Patrick Mahomes, that's something that's completely different than anything you can pull from Brady's accolades. And it starts to become this imbalanced, hard to judge apples to oranges comparison. And then it becomes a preference or some would say bias involved, whatever. But yeah, he's climbed into that bucket. We'll see what happens. I mean, Mahomes is so clutch. That one throw was crazy. He's so magical on the field. He's falling down. He was like totally level. Just threw that bullet to Kelsey. That was unreal. People hate him. People hate him, and I
I
don't understand it.
I said, please don't make a big house about it. When I heard the first time they were in huddle, you heard Mahomes talking, and he started laughing.
Yeah.
That's what Mahomes said. I find that funny, but I
right.
feel when the crap hits the fan, who's going to get open? No, but you.
All right.
Dude,
all right, Denny, hang tight for me. Hang tight for me. I want you to cook up a song for me. Can you give me some sort of Mahomes song? Or JD5. Can you sing something about JD5 for me, please? Go.
Okay. Yeah, I can. I can probably come up with something, but I need your acoustics.
Okay. Why don't you think about a song? I'll come back to you. Cook something up for JD5, something custom. Ron says, easy to pick KC to the Super Bowl. Nobody can beat the refs. And game-changing calls every time me. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. I know Ron's passionate about this topic to an extreme, and I get that, and I understand it, and I respect it, and I even agree in some sense of what, Ron, you're trying to say. I think it sounds like you don't, like, I almost feel like you would say, take everything away from Mahomes. He doesn't deserve it. Everything should be omitted. Like, and you can't do that. Like, he's a GOAT. He's a GOAT in training. He's the GOAT below Brady, and he's going to take that spot. Campbell just said in the post-game press conference, at the end of the day, I didn't have them ready. Even Campbell puts it on himself. At least he says that. Hold on, Denny, hold on. At least he says that and admits it, but this guy screwed it up. His mentality, and he might even be in his own head now going forward, but he might have to take away these decisions that he makes from himself. I don't know. But you don't throw the foot. And if it was Ben Johnson and he allowed the play to go down on Ben Johnson's command, it's still on him. It's still on him to make that bold of call. I'd venture to say Ben Johnson didn't want to do that, but maybe he said, hey, let's do that play we worked on, whatever, and Ben's like, okay, I don't know. We'll never probably know, but he's still responsible, and there's no way Dan Campbell didn't. Denny, can you mute yourself real quick? We got a lot of noise in the background. Let me go to these other callers that have been waiting patiently. Denny, I'll come back to you. Please actually mute it, Denny. Please hit the mute button. Don't pretend to hit it. I can still hear everything you're doing. I don't want to have to hang up on you, pal. You know I love you, so just mute it. Sean from Cali, you're live, then over to Josh. Sean, go. Sean, you're live.
You're on mute, brah.
Sean, you're probably on mute or something. You'll have to call back again. Sean just can't get it right tonight. This is the third time. Josh Baker from Ohio, you are live.
Yeah. Great day of football today.
Great day.
One thing I was thinking, it seems like the Bills, their team's completely built to beat the Chiefs. That's their whole game plan. It's not built to beat the Ravens. I think they're going to struggle in that game. And I think the Chiefs' offensive line is struggling. Lately with some injuries. I think it's going to be the Ravens versus the Redskins or Commanders. Myself. And then I was wondering.
Could be.
Superflex, the Commanders having $80 million this offseason. Would you dare take Jayden Daniels number one?
And Superflex, of course I would consider that. Because again, man, you got to look at, like, how do you objectively look at Bo Nix right now and Drake May? You're looking at Bo Nix saying, what do you think Bo Nix was valued like at the end of the year? Like if you're drafting, let's say week 14. Like, would you have taken Bo Nix as a top 10 quarterback? Probably would have, right?
Yeah, top 10, yeah.
Okay. Don't you believe you're walking into 2025 going, okay, he's going to take a step forward? It's mind-boggling to me that people don't also use that with JD5. They just assume because he's so good right now, he's at his ceiling. Like, he has to be, right? No, he doesn't. Like, he could get so much better, bro. But I think you still entertain Josh Allen, who's consistently top 1, 2 this year. I think he was 3 or 4, but he had such a big year. Like Josh Allen has had 5 straight years of 40+ touchdowns. He continues to ball out. Lamar has been injured before. Lamar has been inconsistent over the course of his entire career. he would be the one guy that I think people are going to put way too much confidence that he just repeats it, doesn't get hurt, like doesn't have a bad. He's been hurt. He's gotten hurt. He's failed for half of a year and then bounced back. In the Justin Herbert rookie season year, he was absolute unstartable for 8 straight games. Weeks 1 through 8, you couldn't start Lamar. By the time you got to week 7, 8, you were benching Lamar Jackson. And you were benching him for rookie Justin Herbert. That's how bad Lamar played. Then Lamar got hurt. Another year he got hurt. Like, he's inconsistent. I love Lamar. And Lamar's a freaking fantasy football machine. And with Derrick Henry there, it's even better. But there's no guarantee with Lamar. He's definitely disappointed people time and time again. He's just playing great right now, and it feels really good. And I definitely draft him in the Superflex in the top 5. I'm not trying to, like, don't twist what I'm saying. It's just, am I taking JD5? Am I taking Josh Allen? Am I taking, am I making that kind of selection first? Maybe, yeah. I think it's either Josh Allen, JD5, or JD5, Josh Allen, then Lamar. That's all I'm saying. For people saying that I'm hating on Lamar, I'm not hating on Lamar. I'm just giving you a reason why Lamar is not as lock solid 1 or 2 overall as people might try and act like I should be saying. Lamar's failed before many times.
And our super flex, it's 6 for a touchdown pass, and it's 1 point for every 20 passing yards. Would you consider Burrow maybe above Lamar, given that scoring system?
How did they finish this year in your scoring format? What was the finish, and how far apart was it?
That's a question I should.
Yeah, you need to look at
higher,
you need to look at your scoring.
Yeah.
But we'll address it all off season, bro.
Yeah. Okay. And then one little pushback on the Mahomes kind of like being the class act thing. I think it's easy to look that way when you are winning, Super Bowls.
What's he done? Name one thing he's done. Name one thing he's done that's not class act. Besides, like, flopping here or there. Like, give me something that's actually tangible.
I got one. Okay. When they lost to the Bills, and then he was like saying to Josh Allen, instead of shaking his hand, he's like, "Bro, that offense offside, that was trash," and then Josh Allen kind of just passed him and just kind of ignores it, I think that was like a pretty classless one there. I don't think he's like, the next George Pickens or anything, but if things aren't going well, I think we'll see it a little more.
I don't know. I think the guy's the most like collective chill dude. They interview him, he's totally chill. Hey, did you see they got a little dummy of you that they're poking needles in? Always a voodoo doll or whatever. There's a Patrick Mahomes in L.A. Las Vegas. And he's like, we'll deal with it when we deal with it, or it gets dealt with when it gets dealt with. Like, he's just calm, cool, chill. I think he's just got such a bad rap because of his family. His family's a chaotic, just absolute clown show. His brother, his wife, his dad, it's just crazy. But then on top of that, it's like he's winning and people hate Tom Brady. Like, how do you hate Tom Brady? I know. How do you hate Tom Brady? Like, someone honestly tell me, because he wins. Because he beat your team over and over and over again. The hate for Tom Brady is ill-founded. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. And it's laughable. If you hate Tom Brady, you're letting your fandom get the best of you, and you're acting kind of silly. There's no reason to hate Tom Brady. If he's got a little bit of the diva mentality, you want that in your quarterback. And you want a little. He has every reason to be a little bit cocky or arrogant. But Tom Brady is also a class act in so many ways. Like, people are just absolutely, they get lunatic-like when it comes down to a player that's rising up like Mahomes. People will hate JD5 at some point. There'll be so many people hell-bent against JD5 just because he's winning. But Mahomes is, anytime a player gets injured, he's the first person over there. He's like, referee, get a trainer out here. The guy's freaking got good intentions almost the whole time. It's crazy. It's crazy if people think he's some sort of bad person. It's insane. It's insane.
We'll see. I don't know if he's, but and then I would think, the Brady haters always, you see him giving the credit to Belichick and stuff, even though they were 0-2 when he took the third that year, 5-11 the time before. Reed has always been good. He's, taken, Alex Smith. I made him almost MVP caliber. He's taken the Eagles to the NFC Conference title 4 times in a row. I think maybe you don't hear that like you always heard. It was Belichick instead of Brady. Surprising me a little bit.
All right, we'll see you later, bro.
Yeah, see you, man.
All right, let's try this a 4th time. Sean, you're live. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, Sean, do you have it? Make sure everything's turned down in the background, bro.
Okay, yeah, we got everything turned down in the background. I apologize for all the fallacies before,
Okay,
but
hit me.
you helped me out a lot this fantasy season. I want to congratulate you for that because you're the man.
Thank you,
all right, Smitty's the man. Fantasy football god. I want to see you do the JD5 dance because JD5 is fucking him, dude. Right?
Yes, he is.
I'm a Redskins fan since 1987. All right. And this is the happiest day of my fucking life.
Okay, you're dropping, Sean. It's just the guy's failed 5 times in a row. The monetization, the continued f-bombs. Look, I don't care about them personally. I swear like a sailor, but there's monetization, there's advertising, there's all that you gotta factor in, Sean. And it's just like double in a row. Like this guy's screwed up calling in 5-6 times in a row. Sean, no show for you for 1 week. I mean, good Lord. Mars Man Rock Out, you're live. Congratulations on JD5 and your Commanders winning yet again, my boy. Congrats.
Yeah, how about my Commanders? But as far as the Lions, they played that game a little too cute.
Yeah.
With those trick plays and J-Mo throwing that pass, at that point they were only down 10 points. I'm not saying they would have won or whatever, but you would at least gave yourself a chance.
Yeah, that was just a dumb call. Campbell deserves to be very much raked over the coals and ridiculed for allowing, regardless if Ben Johnson called it or not. I don't think Ben probably did. But if he did, doesn't matter. Like allowing that play to happen, it was ridiculous. Like you can't allow J-Mo, who's gonna be pumped up on adrenaline, and it's even more risky to have him throw that football after he scores and makes a big play because he's already like in his head enabled. I am the game savior. I'm already dropping loads all over the field. This throw is going to work. And so you give this football to J-Mo without any instruction about, hey, just don't throw it if it's not there. Clearly, Gibbs was double teamed. He had two defenders on him. Gibbs had to play defense, and it was an absolute horrible throw and a horrible call. Mm-hmm. And it's on Dan. And we did say this when we did the bracket. I did have the Lions advancing, but in the commentary it was like, it's possible Dan screws this game up. And he did. He certainly did. But the Commanders came to play. And, even if Dan didn't have that, it still may have not worked out in the Lions' favor. But that was just a horrible, horrible call. But, man, JD5, Kingsbury, and I'm afraid Kingsbury leaves and goes to Chicago to coach Caleb. Kingsbury's right where he needs to be. He really should let it play out one more year and really amp up his abilities. But the problem is the Chicago spot, I believe, will be the dream landing spot for him. And there is no waiting, because if he waits a year, it's going to get filled. So if he can get his dream landing spot now, which was coaching Caleb, it's like his son. They have holidays together. They're like this, Caleb and Kingsbury. I think he's going to head over there, but we'll see if Chicago could hire somebody else. And then I think Kingsbury may look at what Ben Johnson did, wait a year. But Kingsbury, I'm a little bit fearful that wherever he goes, he will not fully succeed if it's not a perfect situation, because he kind of feels like the Shanahan, Mike McDaniel mold where he's created what he does, and when he goes to coach, he can't be that anymore. He has to do all these other functions, and he's not as good at those things, and it drags down his play calling and his offensive coordinating. And that's where I think Kingsbury's absolutely unbelievable. Kingsbury's fantastic. But what a formula they got in Washington. Adam Peters, we said it from the top, the tripod. Adam Peters, GM, best GM in the league. You got Kingsbury, one of the best play callers in the league, offensive coordinator, and it's a perfect tripod. And it also makes me very, very excited about what like New England's doing, because they have Vrabel, and they can still bring in the play caller, and it's kind of like having two head coaches. You know, you have your head coach, Vrabel, and if you bring in a high-powered coordinator, it's almost like you have a two-headed monster at the top part of your offensive, coaching pyramid here. That's what I think is the winning formula. Whereas if you bring in just, let's say, Ben Johnson as head coach, he's going to play call, and so your offensive coordinator is kind of meaningless in a sense. So I kind of like the formula, and I think that Kingsbury in this spot is perfect, but he'll probably go head coach. Why wouldn't you? Now's the time to do it. I understand why he would, but I just wish that he wouldn't. Maybe he doesn't. Ben Johnson was surprisingly not, exploring this too much last year. He did a little bit, and then he backed off. So maybe, but we'll see. We'll see. A lot of these guys go and they burn. They crash and burn. They jump too early. Back in the day, you didn't have this kind of turnover. Now, you have one good season as an offensive coordinator, and you're going to become a head coach most likely. And it wasn't that way years ago. You got to stay somewhere a while. Offensive coordinators weren't even given all that much credit. Now it's social media and all the amplification of everything going on. Everybody talking about this. So Ben Johnson's really good. Who's Ben Johnson? Now fans know who offensive coordinators are, and they never did. So the hype's different. It's all kind of changing, and you're going to have more parity in the NFL. You're going to have less teams doing what the Chiefs are doing, winning year after year after year, because when you rip offensive coordinators, really good ones, from teams like the Eagles last year, things collapse. So it's going to be hard to keep a lot of teams consistently playing well in today's NFL if you can't keep the coaching staff team in-house for too long, especially when the offensive coordinator is quietly the reason why it all works. Like Ben Johnson, Slowick, these guys are really good at what they do, so much so that their coaches look phenomenal. And what happens to Slowick, or what happens to Ryan when Slowick leaves, D'Amico might not look as good all of a sudden. We'll see. But go ahead, rock out. Final thoughts. I'll go over to Denny one more time and see if he's got a song prepared, then over to Ron Navy, who I'm sure is going to have a time talking KC. Go ahead, Travis. Or, I'm sorry. No, I got to go to Travis, too. Real quickly, rock out, go.
Yeah, as far as the last two quarterbacks, I'd take Stroud and I'd take JD5 the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
As far as being the best QB of the class.
I mean, Chicago taking. I never forget when we were sitting there going like Ryan Poles calls up Caleb. Caleb is 3 minutes before the draft started. He called him a little early.
Yeah.
Called him 2 minutes early. Poles called him. Hello. Caleb was like, "Who's this?" And Poles was like, you could see it on his face. Son of a bitch. I should just hang up the phone right now. What balls it would have taken for Poles to go, never mind. Hang up the phone and go, JD5 is our pick. Well, you knew he wanted to do that. You could see it all over his face when Caleb was like, "Who's this?" And just acting like a weirdo. And Poles was like, "Hey, are you ready? You're our guy." And you could just see Poles going, "My life is flashing before my eyes." We all are going, "Please take Caleb." And if JD,
I'm going to Smitty, grab the guitar. Okay, grab the guitar. I'm in.
Jeez, he's ready. I don't have the guitar. I don't have the guitar on me, but I can go with the keyboard. Go ahead.
No, Smitty. No, me and Smitty. It's me and Smitty.
I got the keyboard ready. Go ahead, Denny. Denny, go ahead.
I'm writing the song right.
Okay, Denny. I got the music. Sing the lyrics. Ready? Hold on. Let me get the music down. Okay. Are you gonna sing? Okay, I got it. You start singing. Go.
Hey, it's me, JD5. Just came. I'm alive. Lighting candles. You were gone. Above your stadium. You were gonna above your stadium. You were gonna above your stadium. That was the best fun song you ever heard.
I don't know what just happened. All right, Denny, mute yourself real quickly. I'll come back to you. Travis, real quickly, and then I'll come back to you, Travis. I just want to get you've been sitting there for a while, and then I got to go to Ron Navy real quick. So, Denny, mute yourself real quick. Travis, real quickly, then over to Ron.
No, go to Ron.
Okay, Ron Navy, you're live.
That is a trip. Makes me laugh every time.
All right, go ahead, Ron. If you're not signed,
I'm going to keep with the theme. JD5 is smash. You were right about JD5 all along. Gibbs, arguably number one RB. I mean, I think Saquon, you got to put Saquon in with that. A and B running back this year. We got to see what Barkley does tomorrow. But yeah, they smashed it. It was a heck of a game. Commanders just got the better of them. So, and I'm happy for JD5. And as far as the other stuff goes, I don't hate Mahomes. He has all the talent in the world. The thing I'm saying is, let them earn it instead of having rep assistance every single time, because it is apparent. If it happens once, okay, you can say it's just bad luck. But when it happens consistently, it happened in the Jacksonville playoff game, it happened in the Cincinnati playoff game, and it happened again in tonight's game, a couple different times. And the fact that it just didn't happen randomly, it happened at third downs when the ball would have changed hands on drives and let their drive, and they were able to score on those drives. So is it a coincidence? No, it's not a coincidence. And with all the corruption going on in the world, especially with our government, who are we to say the NFL is so compartmentalized and they control their own thing and there's no oversight in the NFL? Who's to say that the NFL isn't rigging this thing in Kansas City way? I mean, it's very possible. I mean, you know, I don't hate Kansas City.
You're not alone.
I don't hate Mahomes at all.
I will say you're not alone. There's a lot of people that feel this way, but
you just can't shut down the conversation just because you don't want to talk about it.
Well,
it is bothering a lot of people.
I mean,
it's bothering a lot of
technically,
people.
I can.
And let Kansas City earn it on their own without the rest of the system.
Look, I'm not.
It's almost like.
Hold
it's
on a
almost like when the deep state goes after Trump, tries to assassinate him, tries to put him in jail with all this bogus crap. It's the same type of stuff.
Go ahead, Denny.
I wrote.
What's up, Denny?
Hey,
what's up, Denny? What's up, Jarhead?
What's up, Squid?
Hey,
Squid people.
You want me to play? You want me to play it again, Denny? Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah, let's run it back. I wrote a song about it's a punk song, and it's like about the disrespect of JD5.
Okay. Okay. Here, I'm gonna enhance it a little bit. Ready? I'm gonna go full hands, bro.
Yeah. Like.
Wait.
JD5. Just in case to tell you, I'm still alive. Lighting candles.
Okay. I thought something was going to happen there, but all right. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back to Ron Navy. Or let me go over to Travis real quick and see.
The next Bob Dylan.
Travis, why don't you respond to Ron Navy's anger and claims, and then ask your question that you wanted to ask, or whatever topic you wanted to go. So let's hear somebody else rather than me talk about it. I've already made my piece, and I'm not shutting it down. I got an open phone line, Ron, so I don't shut down anything. Technically, I could shut down whatever I want. It's my show, but I don't shut it down. I got a wide open phone line, and people call in and they can say whatever.
But honestly, it came across that you didn't want to talk about it.
That's my take.
Talk about it.
But that's my take.
And it was an earlier game today.
But Ron, that's my take. My take is I'm not.
Talk about it.
My take. That's my take. I'm not going to come out here and go, I'm not going to have an opinion.
Well, I understand it.
So then I open the phone lines, and if you want to,
and I'm okay with the take. But you made it sound like you didn't want to talk about it with anybody.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to talk about it in my monologue. I didn't want to talk about it and coming from me. I'm not going to waste time on it. It's a boring topic to me. But if someone wants to call in and converse about it, open phone line. But I'm just saying, in my monologue's my monologue. The content on here, I'm going to say whatever I want. And what I wanted to say was, I'm not going to waste my time personally addressing all the constant crying and complaining about the KC Chiefs winning. And I get where you're coming from. I understand it.
It's not crying. It's not whining.
I'm not necessarily saying
actually happening.
I'm not necessarily even pointing it just at you or anything. I'm like, if you go into the comment section of anything, I got that throw where Mahomes is.
I never said you were.
I know, but I'm not saying you are either. I'm saying the crying, complaining doesn't necessarily point at you. Like I posted an Instagram video up, and it makes me laugh. I don't ever get mad about it. I just it's boring conversation for me. But I posted that throw where he was like vertical and he threw it to Kelsey in the end zone, the amazing touchdown throw, the winning touchdown essentially. I posted it on my IG knowing it was going to cause turmoil, and I just put GOAT, or whatever. And the comments are just absolutely crazy, all negative. Like, you didn't see this, you didn't. Like, the crying in there is just, it's just unreal. Like the whining and complaining and which is funny to me actually. But it's just.
The Chiefs' right tackle was lined up like a good 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and they didn't call it one time. So I'm kind of what's wrong a little bit, not all the way, but just a little bit.
Smitty, is Travis on here?
Yes, Travis is on here, Denny.
It seems to happen every time, though. It seems to happen in all the big games, and even in the regular season. But mainly in the playoffs, it happens a lot.
All right, hold on. One person at a time. Denny, you're trying to talk in the background there, jargled. What are you saying?
I'm saying I kind of like the trolling on. He's kind of shadowing the GOAT in the GOAT shadow. I mean, wow.
He is shadowing the GOAT.
No.
He is definitely shadowing the GOAT. I mean, he's wearing a what? All right.
We're doing trips, right?
Hold on, Denny.
Here's the big thing though. Mahomes might be shadowing the GOAT, but I mean, things could turn where you got Burrow. I mean, if Burrow gets over the hump, Burrow can do it. JD5 showing more. I mean, like, he could be the guy,
of course,
of the future and be even more impressive than any of them.
Yeah,
I mean,
JD5.
The rookie is doing what he's done. I mean,
all right, hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Hold on, Denny. Wait, be quiet. Hold on one second. Go ahead, John. You're live, John.
I just wanted to add that I think they had 16 guys on injury reserve, the Lions, and I think 12 out of the 16 were defensive guys. So they were pretty much sitting out like second string defensive guys. Yeah, Ben Johnson had some bad calls and whatnot.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for my money back from FanDuel.
Hey, we're underdog. We're underdog here, Denny. John hung up. I just want for the record. I want to talk about the injuries For the record, the Lions should have won the game. It came down to John just hung up. He got so pissed at us laughing.
That might have been the worst argument I've ever heard. I would lose $1,000 bet, but remember my biggest argument for always with Smitty was about the Lions, and we don't have to argue anymore. I was like, because I love J-Mo. I think J-Mo is fantastic. You know, I love his routes and everything. Oh, no, I'm a Ross St. Brown. And, you know, we weren't even thinking about
Smitty.
And also
on the whole Kingsbury thing. Have you heard?
One at a time. One at a time,
heard,
guys.
Like I heard that Gruden could be going to Chicago or be considered in Chicago.
I will find out what's real
I'd like
on
to
that.
have Gruden for
I like
the
Gruden.
Steelers, but I heard a rumor that Gruden's being considered for a Chicago job.
Yeah, he might be. We'll see tomorrow. We'll have a lot more concrete information tomorrow. Ben Johnson will probably be signed, sealed, and delivered within a couple of days. I also wanted to say to John, who called in and dropped the injury report on us as to why the Lions lost. Let's not forget that Rashee Rice wasn't on the field tonight, and you know, you want to say that the Lions' injuries or anything had anything to do with lesser play. What about Rashee Rice, a top 5 wide receiver? He wasn't on the field. So
did you hear the rundown though of the injured?
Yeah.
I think he just I think he was just throwing up my high school football roster.
John, then he just deuced out of here. I just want to say the Lions should have won the game, and it was so out of nowhere too. All right, let's go over to Travis again. Travis, what else did you have? Hold on, Denny.
I mean, Ron makes a good point. I don't say a lot about the Chiefs. I say it from time to time, but I don't like to get too into it because I know I just get the Patriots thing thrown back at me. But I guess the biggest thing with me with the GOAT thing is, like, he'll be in the conversation. He already is in the conversation, obviously. But we'll see if he gets 3 in a row. But, like, it has nothing to do with him. It's just funny how things change because, like, Brady, they wouldn't even consider calling him the GOAT, and he had 4 or 5 championships, and you still have people saying Manning was better. It's just, I think that's what frustrates people sometimes too.
He's won a Super Bowl with more than one team, Travis. He's won with Patriots, then he goes Tampa Bay and wins another Super Bowl with a totally different team.
Yeah.
So yeah, Brady is the GOAT.
But believe me, Travis, he's got to win. He's got to win this Super Bowl to be in the full conversation. That's what I said from the beginning of the year. Remember when we had this conversation, like in, I don't know, it was like March or April, and everyone's like telling me he's not. You cannot call Brady or Mahomes the GOAT. And I'm like, I'm not calling him the GOAT. My whole thing was prefacing if he wins the Super Bowl again and he's a three-peat, then he brings an accolade that no one else has, just like Brady has his accolades that no one else has. And then it becomes a harder argument to combat on either side because you got these different, components. And then you start looking at like how much he's accomplished at a younger age. And then whether you're looking at from an angle of that makes him the GOAT because he's done it all at a young age and you know that the other accolades are coming, or you say, no, we have to wait till he hits the benchmarks. That's this 2 different perspectives. If you're going to look at he needs to get there, that's fine. Then your argument is more so you need to have the numbers and all that, and that's fine. You're a numbers specific GOAT measurement type of person. Whereas if you're saying for him to do this, and you seem like that, and that's fine. That's a totally normal way to look at it. But if you're somebody that looks at things a little differently, and you say for him to be where he's at his age, to me makes him the GOAT because he's already accomplished so much in a compact window. To me, it's just a formality that he's going to continue to add to it. But, I mean, look, I'm not saying he passes Brady. I just think he's right in line with him. If he wins the Super Bowl and he's a three-peat quarterback, Super Bowl winning monster, then I think it becomes an undebatable. It's debatable, but it becomes an unwinnable argument because they have different accolades and it's different time frames and it's different everything. And then you start looking at, as a playoff winning quarterback, I think he has more playoff wins than like half the league, half of the NFL teams in the NFL. Like he's just, there's so many different things at his age that he's accomplished that you got to say, holy crap. Just like JD5, where JD5 is right now, like you're going to have to give him some sort of what he's done at his age gives him this much more value when you start saying how important he is. Like, you got to look at all those things, but JD5 is unbelievable. I know a lot of people are going to use the RG3 example in comparison in the offseason. Believe me, there will be plenty of JD5 haters coming downstream very quickly. Not everyone's going to love him. People will be complaining about this, complaining about that. A lot of negativity comes from fandom or anti-fandom or just some sort of rivalry, bad blood type of thinking. But the truth of the matter is there's 100 ways to argue all of this.
Hey, can I get one in before I go to sleep?
Yeah, Denny. Then pass out.
And it's going to be, I got to get one in with these intangibles.
Yeah.
And, they ain't going to like it down there in Boston. But you know what? Faced Eli 2 times. Same coach, same 2 coaches.
It's true.
Same 2 QBs. I mean, that's intangible. Those are the intangibles.
What Denny's saying is that Tom Brady kept getting bested by Eli Manning. And, and that's just one angle, but like
and Belichick and Coughlin, it was the Boston College coach.
It is kind of wild that Eli Manning has Tom Brady's number. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. It really is.
So, Smitty, let's just say me and you, because we're kind of a couple heavy hitters, right? And we both meet each other at the finals a couple times. You knock me out when I get there, right? And then I
don't know what he's saying.
Go and I meet you again. You knock me out again? I mean,
I don't know what Denny's saying right now.
Where's my bragging rights? Just saying, Smitty.
All right, I guess, Denny. Denny, appreciate you. Go pass out, bro. Appreciate you.
All right, I love you. Hey, tell Travis to go to sleep.
All right, later.
Tell I love Ronnie Navy. Ronnie Navy is my boy. I love you, kid. I love you guys. Bye.
All right,
Bye.
later.
There you go.
All right, let me go around the horn here. Rock out. Final thoughts. Rock out.
It's crazy how momentum works. So why not us? Why not Commanders?
Why not? Why not, bro? I'll tell you why. Why so, JD5? Can you imagine when you get like a T. Higgins or better? Like what other options? Yep. Let's kick it around real quickly. Adam Peters is going to bring in somebody. Is it a top 4 rookie wide receiver? Is it T. Higgins? Is it A.J. Brown? Chris Godwin? Keenan Allen? A.J. Brown would be interesting.
Gotta boot.
Don't bring in Diggs. Just don't.
Oh, we're talking wide receivers. Yeah, we're talking wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, Hollywood, I don't know. He didn't really. I would say Higgins or maybe Godwin, because Godwin's issue is a foot. I don't know. He might be okay. So Higgins, Godwin, Debo, A.J. Brown would be very intriguing. As much as I clown on A.J. Brown's behavior lately, I still think he's an outstanding top,
He'll get the ball here.
5 to 7 wide receiver, 5 to 8 wide receiver. Like you put him in Washington. I mean, good Lord. And JD5 will feed him. What?
Yeah, he'll feed him. He won't be playing in Washington.
Yeah, that'll solve the squeaky wheel.
No books. No books here.
All right. Yeah, that's gonna be my go-to. And I know that's confusing because I definitely have been hard on A.J. Brown, but I don't change. That doesn't change just because he gets traded to Washington. The thing is, he's got knee concerns. I do worry about that. But that would be one red flag. If he goes to Washington, the other red flags disappear. That's kind of the nature of the multiple red flag run away from the player. If A.J. Brown stays in Philly, you've got Hurts not playing well. You've got Sirianni kind of messing with this offense, and you don't really know because Barkley's saving the day, the defense is saving the day. He's masking it all with the production there. And so, like, Sirianni's destroying this passing attack. Hurts isn't playing well. AJ's complaining. AJ hates his job right now. Even when they win, he's complaining. He's mad. So it's like, if AJ Brown leaves, the squeaky wheel goes away. His attitude problem goes away. He's excited to play with a rising star quarterback. And the only concern we have are missed games. And maybe he misses 3 or 4 games or whatever. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't for a whole year. So A.J. Brown in Washington would alleviate some of those red flags. But he stays in Philly. I kind of have concerns about his cost of entry next year. I don't want any part of a high second round A.J. Brown. I don't. Not in Philly. In Washington, maybe.
What about Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if he's got a year left. It's hard to say.
He's talking about wanting to go somewhere else.
It's weird because he still looks quick. Like when you watch him run, he still runs quick. I don't understand it. Is it really? Is it really? Like here's the dilemma: is if his talent didn't drop off and it wasn't a him problem, like if it's his problem, he wouldn't complain, right? Because why would you complain if you're the one causing the problems? You're slowing down. You're not running good routes anymore. You're dropping off, unless you just don't care anymore. And that might be where he's at. Maybe he does have a year left and he literally just doesn't care anymore at all about being there. And so he's like, I don't give a shit, whatever. Don't throw it to me. I still don't care. I just want to be gone. I'm out of here. I'm tired of this regime. I'm out of here. Maybe he goes to Washington and has one more solid year. But I do admit I'm confused. It's a curious case because when I watch him running routes, doesn't look slow. And even if he slowed down a lot, he's still faster than anybody else. So I don't know. It's a very curious case. If he stays put, I want nothing to do with him. If Tyreek Hill goes to Washington and Adam Peters sees something in him that is still there, then I trust Adam Peters.
Yep.
All right, we'll see you later, Rock Out. Congrats, my boy.
Yep. Thanks.
Later. Ron Navy, final thoughts?
Yeah, we might be singing the woes if the Jets hire Arthur Smith as their new head coach. What's that do for Brees and everybody else on that team that makes them pretty much dead, fantasy-wise?
Can you imagine that?
I want nothing to do with anything Arthur Smith, especially as a coach.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Sell it all.
I want nothing to do with Tomlin, and still, I want to sell Tomlin away, but that ain't gonna happen.
I can't. The Jets
He's
are
the problem.
The Jets are definitely the kind of team that would do that. Oh man, I hope not.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And JD5. What rookie is it? What other rookie? I'm asking because maybe there is one out there that's won the Super Bowl first year. Marino went his first year, but he didn't win it.
Ziggy, has a rookie quarterback ever won a Super Bowl?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, no rookie quarterback has won or even started a Super Bowl.
Not even started a Super Bowl, according to Ziggy.
Yeah. So, and they very well, the way they're playing right now, they very well could make it to the Super Bowl. And wouldn't that be something if JD5 caps off this year? And even because you know how they are, the voters, and they all skew, and they all got their favorites, and it's all a favorite thing. So probably Lamar Jackson will probably win the MVP prematurely, and watch JD, and they'll give Rookie of the Year to JD5 hands down. But watch him go to the Super Bowl and win it.
That'd be crazy. I can't. I'll be rooting. I'll be rooting for it.
Ever to win it.
He should be the NFL MVP. I've already said it. He should be the NFL MVP. I think it's ridiculous.
But he won't be. You know that.
He is the most valuable player to his offense. Part of me thinks that they're going to gravitate to him being their new Mahomes, He's a very likable, very marketable guy. It's very much like Mahomes 2.0. I think they very much are okay with, especially if they have two Mahomes like types, then they don't. If they're doing what you're saying, Ron, and there's a lot of rig stuff involved, at least there's less need to control the outcomes if you really believe that to be true, because you've got, okay, well, we don't necessarily need to do this because if JD5 goes, we're okay with that. I think JD5 is going to be the new league poster boy. He's too exciting. Like, everyone loves him now. Everyone's exciting. Everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody's predicting him to be amazing. He's so calm and cool and collective.
We always talk about Joe Burrow, Mr. Fool there. I mean, same with JD5. He's like Burrow-esque. He's got that same demeanor as Burrow does.
Oh, he looks like he's in practice.
The cool, nothing affects him. He
just watching him throw. He's not even putting any velocity on the ball. Like sometimes when he's throwing, he looks like he's just throwing a practice football to somebody wide open. He just goes, McLaurin grabs, he doesn't even need to put any zip on it. He just makes sure it's controlled. He doesn't need to throw it into a tight window in this specific spot. So he just throws this beautiful, slow looking football. It's wide open. It's holy crap. That dime he threw near the end of the game, I think in the fourth quarter, who was it that caught that pass? Was it McLaurin? On the right side of the field, and it was just like a unbelievable raindrop. That was a moon ball. That was unreal. He took Russell Wilson's moon ball job. I mean, it was unbelievable. The rumor today is that Fields is going to remain a Steeler, which, while I believe that is the right move for the Steelers, if they do go that route, it's just speculation at this point. People just rumors. It's a fireable offense to have gone the route of Russell Wilson if you're now going the route of Justin Fields. To me, that means you're so incompetent as a coach in Tomlin. And Ron, you nailed it from the beginning when everybody was pushing back on you on Tomlin. Tomlin, that's a fireable offense if you're admitting now that Fields was the better quarterback because you're picking him over Russell now. If that is the case, if that ends up being the case, it's a fireable offense right there. You're admitting that you had incompetence all season long. It's just ridiculous that Tomlin didn't even. Fields, everybody knew Fields was the better quarterback. Fields earned the job. It's 4-2, 3-0 against playoff teams. What in the hell are you doing taking him out of the game? Tomlin should be fired. They're not going to fire him,
and
but
then
they
when
should
you're
be
on
fired.
The slide, which is much as a defensive fault as anything, but you're on a 5-game. You end up on a 5-game slide, doing the same mediocre stuff that you've done in the playoffs every single year. Your defense lets you down, and we got the highest paid defense in the league. $130 million our defense gets paid. Our defensive players earn $100 million. That's how much they pay for that defense. And every single playoff game, our defense is getting torched. We're already down 21, 28, 35, nothing, or we have maybe one touchdown starting out with it. The defense is unreal.
This comment's for you, Ron. I hear you, but this comment's for you. JD5 can't win the Super Bowl, Ron. The refs, remember your narrative.
Exactly.
He did call you on that.
But it would be great if he could.
No, you said watch. He's gonna.
But it would be great if he could.
It did sound like you said you were saying he was going to win the Super Bowl. Watch, and then Jay Freeze's telling you you can't.
I really do. I do.
I know, but what Jay Freeze's saying is you.
See JD5
but Jay Freeze's saying, and you did say it as if he was going to win it, not that you hope he wins it. And he's just calling you out on that. But
no, I would hope that he win it.
Okay.
I said if he were to win the Super Bowl, he'd be the first rookie to win it.
He'd be the first rookie to start in the Super Bowl.
That's what I said. Yeah.
According to Ziggy. Go ahead, Travis.
Do I think what?
Do you think with Fields that's a Tomlin coming around on Fields, or do you think ownership is pressuring him to?
I don't think ownership can pressure him.
I think unfortunately, even though Fields is the better quarterback of the two and he has the most potential of the two, it'll end badly for Fields while Tomlin's still the head coach, because Tomlin cannot get anybody in there that develops Fields the correct way. Unfortunately, Tomlin has never been able to get any quarterback to develop Roethlisberger was already developed by Bruce Arians, who was initially hired by Cowher. So Arians was already there, and Ben was already developed when Tomlin got there, so he never had to. So now they're having these quarterback issues, and Tomlin, and he's a defensive coach. I mean, Tomlin was all defense, right? Look at our defense, how bad it is. And he can't hire a good offensive coordinator. That's a fact. So all anybody really has to hedge their thing on is, Tomlin's never had a losing season. Yeah, but he's got a losing playoff. And this one Super Bowl win, it was with Cowher, Bruce Arians as his offensive coordinator, and he had Cowher's defensive coordinator and all his coaches at the time. But quickly he got rid of them as soon as possible, and he lost his second Super Bowl run that he went to, and he hasn't done nothing since. He has a losing playoff record, and he just stinks it up. But he blames everybody else. And even these professionals that do their radio shows and all that, they're all like all over Tomlin's nuts, and they sit there and Tomlin's this, and you can't fire him. Well, at some point you have to. Even Belichick, Patriots had moved on from him, right? Yeah. Everybody at some point, every coach should, because the message gets dry, and you need new blood in there, and yes, you have to go through the rebuild. And the rebuilds aren't always fancy, but I'd rather have a coach in there rebuilding where, okay, we take a couple losing seasons, but we're making the playoffs, we're making deep runs in the playoffs, and not just one and done every single year.
Yeah, I don't know that I feel. Last thing I'll say on this, and I got to go, but I don't know that if Fields goes to Seattle, or Fields goes to a solid location. Like let's say with Minnesota, which would be so amazing. But they're going to go to JJM. He would develop. He would be fixed. He would be under the Giants. If he goes to the Giants and Dable gets to fix him, like make no mistake about it. For anybody watching that wants to cast judgment against Fields' ability to be a good quarterback, you're being a little closed-minded to the fact that he's never been given a fair shot in the NFL. The Chicago Bears failed him. Ryan Poles failed him. Ryan Poles is one of the worst GMs in the National Football League. He took all the meat off the bone and made Fields play. The year Fields had that 1,100-yard rushing season, he had no wide receivers. Ryan Poles cut every player. He cut good players, defensive players, very good defensive players, cut everybody to free up money for the next year. They went all in. They got DJ Moore, which was fantastic, but they still didn't surround Fields with enough. And then they got rid of Fields. Then they decided to bring in a whole bunch of talent. The Chicago Bears failed him. Then Tomlin failed him. Tomlin didn't use him, pulled the plug on him when he was 4-2, looking good, progressing, fixing, little bit by little, he was getting fixed. If Fields goes to Dable in New York, Dable, who made Josh Allen, tweaked Josh Allen's game, turned him into the player he is, then Fields would be fixed. If Fields stays somewhere, like you said, in Pittsburgh, maybe he plays pretty well. I'd be excited. I'd draft him in fantasy as a super flex quarterback, no doubt about it. And I'd hope that he has some big games. But would he ever get fully fixed and developed and become an elite player? Maybe not. So he needs to go somewhere where there's a coach like Minnesota in his system, or a coach like Dable or Shane Steichen in Indianapolis, who turned Jalen Hurts into a passing machine. And once Steichen left for Indy, Hurts fell off the map. And Hurts can't throw for 200 yards right now. He threw for 400 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. That's what Steichen did for Jalen Hurts. So if the right coach gets Fields, he'll turn Fields, fix Fields, turn him into an absolute gem. But if he doesn't,
I think
he won't get
fixed. Got a head coach job somewhere other than, if Gruden got a head coach job other than like Chicago, I think Gruden could develop Fields. I think he'd have a good chance to develop him. I'm not saying he would, but I think he would. He's had success. He had success with Rich Gannon, and he's had success.
Last question, and make this short, please. I got to go real quickly. You got a minute, 30 seconds to answer it. Do you think Tomlin, knowing Tomlin, because he has a no trade clause, if the organization came to him and said, we'd like to trade you and we've got a suitor, would Tomlin say, no, I'm not going anywhere? Or would he say, if you don't want me, I'll go? Like, what's Tomlin's mentality there? Real quickly, 30 seconds.
his mentality is he's a narcissist and he won't go.
All right.
Yep, that's what I feel too.
All right. Anything else, real quickly, guys?
I think he wouldn't
Travis?
feel secure. I don't think. I think he'd feel too, too insecure about going somewhere else because he could be fired too easily. I think he knows he has it good in Pittsburgh, but
Yeah, but they want to get rid of him. Then he knows he's not going to be there long, unless he turns it around. Which he might be. That might be the narcissism, where he's like, they're mad at me now. I'm going to say no to a trade, and then I'm going to prove it to them, and then they're going to want to keep me. I don't know.
Right.
Well, just to add on to that, Smitty, don't forget that the Steelers have the fewest coaching staff in the NFL. They have
the coaching
less coaches than every other team in the NFL. Yeah, not just the coaches, just position coaches and stuff. They have the least amount of coaches in the NFL. That's because Tomlin is such an artist.
Oh, yeah.
He thinks he can do it all.
Yeah. All right. Well, see you later, Ron. Appreciate you. Later.
Later, Smitty. Have
Later.
a good one, Travis.
All right, Travis. We'll see you tomorrow, bro.
Yep. Later, Smitty. Bye.
Vinny, you got 15 seconds. Vinny, go. You're live.
JD5 is absolutely him, man. Won me that parlay tonight. $150 in the bank. Drafted him as my quarterback next year. It's over.
We told you. We told them, didn't we?
Oh yeah, 100%, Smitty. Hell yeah.
All right, Vinny. Appreciate you. Later.
All right, I'll see you, man.
Boy, did we tell everybody on this one. I'll see you all tomorrow. Appreciate you. Congrats to all of you on Underdog. Don't forget Underdog Fantasy. Promo code Smitty. Link in the description of the video. I'm going to drop the link right now. Draft, do hires, do lowers on Underdog. Here's the link. Code Smitty gets it done. The link inserts code Smitty for you. Don't forget to get on over to my thefantasyfootballshow.com for year-round fantasy football content and information. I've been running this bad boy, this site, for mother freaking 23, 24 years. Here's the link right here. Hit that link. Link's in the description of the video as well. That's my year-round content, 365, 24/7. Don't forget about the Patreon. Here's the Patreon link. Make sure you check that link in the description as well if you miss out on clicking this link. But for $10 a month, cancel anytime. You can get into a live chat that basically has the entire group of people you basically see here in the live chat, chatting 24/7, 365 in 10 different chat rooms and during games the entire time. So check all those out. Appreciate you all. On that note, I leave you with JD5.
He's a 5. JD5 is the only 5. JD5 is him, and now all can see. He graduated from Himothy University. Unleash the Washington Kraken. JD5 to Saturn and beyond. To Saturn and beyond.
Supernova.
But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday. Live whenever big news breaks, and also live most graveyard streams, after-hour shows like this one right here, which is about midnight Eastern. We do that all the time here, so see you on any one of those shows. But please know I'm live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, every single Monday through Friday, and live at least once a day. So on Saturdays and Sundays, I'm I'm live mostly midnight Eastern on both those days, and I'm live at midnight Eastern on Fridays. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, midnight Eastern, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and anytime big news breaks. Thanks to my super chatters, Ron Navy with triple, Superfish with a $5 Jedi, appreciate your $2 hauler, Fonz, Big Sunny, Ray G, and 7. Deuce.